finals. Let's see if the draft will reflect that here in game number 2. Seton Hall trying to fight their way back from an 0-1 deficit. It's a best 3 finals. Their backs are up against the wall. Or will DePaul finally get over a multi-year hump of being the finalists, but second place finishers? We'll find out. First couple bans coming out through Seton Hall going to continue to focus King Amazing on the bottom side. They banned 280 carries last time in the Zaya and the Ash. What will they do this time? Zaya gone, LeBlanc taken away from Kamcha. On the opposite side, Ivern, this rank will not get to play his namesake champion, Ivern taken off, and the Mordekaiser removed from DePaul. It is another 80 carry banned away by Seton Hall. It's Caitlyn this time, and Rise will be removed. So now, decision time for Seton Hall.
Yeah, I think DePaul definitely, they've put so much effort and emphasis into denying away these solo lanes. And when you're talking about, ADC, we're not expecting you to win the lane. We just want you to farm. I don't think there's a better champion, or there might be a few, but I don't think there are too many better champions than the Sivir that's just going to have that safety in lane. It is short range, but will farm up throughout the game and help you stall out.
Yeah, and I think they've identified that their top side of the map is the one that will win them the game. The bottom side needs to be supportive to that top side and not die and at least go neutral / maybe get some pressure there if they can. So I think the Sivir is maybe a solution to that. The issue is there is an Ashe that is up. Granted, it's not the best pick into Sivir, but the Ashe will help spot Ivern this rank in the jungle. I think that's what they have to watch out for, if DePaul does pick that one up.
The Ornn will stay on the red side, this time on DePaul's hands. Maybe soon did a decent job on the Singe to slow down, please be patient. Now he'll have the opportunity to play the inverse matchup in the form of Ornn, but who will he go up against? It does look like Yorick is currently being hovered. It might be trolling. Got a couple seconds to change that one up. Numgums will return back to a non-hook champion in the form of Aurelia, and it will be the Yorick locked in, most likely in the top side of the map for Please Be Patient.
So the Yorick is always best against people who don't really have a way to get out of his lockdown prison. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe that Ornn can't get out of the prison just by Eing into it. He does have to auto-attack through, which does give you time to not only set up a gank, or get ghouls. We may be testing that theory once we get into the game.
Because technically it's supposed to destroy player-made terrain.
I believe, yeah.
So it destroys J4 and Anivia wall and stuff like that. Right. I don't know if it destroys the wall.
Well, we'll see. But it's supposed to be like Living Souls, so maybe it's different. But yeah. I think you're right. But no, it's definitely interesting because normally it's a counter to the gangplank because there's absolutely no way to get out of that. So you get locked down, all of a sudden ghouls jump all over you. Yeah. I was going to say also, DePaul were put in an interesting position with one pick remaining in the Leona locked in for Seton. You have to either A, pick up your ADC, something that's potentially a little bit safer, is I actually Seton didn't ban away any, or you pick up the Thresh. They go for the Thresh. They value Hunky Hank on his main champion, plus with the disengage away from the Leona to give them a little bit more to play around on the bottom side.
So we're hearing that the wall will be destroyed by Ornn, so we'll keep that in mind, as I'm sure we'll see that interaction once or twice. Other thing to notice here, Thresh going back in the hands of Hunky Hank. He said, that was cute, Numgums, now give me back my champion. Bans coming through, Syndra and Kiana removed by DePaul against Seton Hall, and that was answered by Galio and Oriana, and Vladimir gets picked up in the mid lane for Kamcha. Crop selecting Echo, so Ivern this rank going back to the Echo, and Cassidon put in the mid lane now. That'll be answered by Avane. They waited all the way till the very end, did DePaul, to pick their AD carry, multiple AD carry bans. Ashe was still up, and they're going with the hard carry on their pentakill man.
Yeah, so I think the game plan here for DePaul is late. I think they started reading what Sivir was going for. Of course, the wave control coming through. But, Sivir Cassidon want to play the late game scaling. They want to go far. Same thing with the Vladimir plus the Vayne. So now might be a good time to use that grub up code. By the time this game's over, I guarantee you the food's probably going to be there because this one could go the distance. And I think it's suiting that, the last game we're looking for King Amazing, and it's on the Vayne.
Is this really going to be that long? Like, League of Legends in general is not that long anymore, because of the Elder Dragon, because it's like just so powerful with the executes. So you have to fight over Dragon. I'm very, very curious. Like, I don't know what to make of this game. Yeah. Both teams have early game and late game pieces.
Cassidon, Sivir, Vayne, Vladimir.
Yeah.
Going to be interesting to see how these two squads are going to work through it and how these junglers are going to facilitate that fight, how the top laners will work. Will the Yorick be able to outsplit push the Ornn's impact in team fights? Big questions. The next one is, who you guys got? The draft now completed. I'm going back against my original pick here. I'm going to go with Seton Hall. I like the way that Seton Hall now trying to pull out something different, the Yorick here, and then just play scaling. So if you're on the bottom side, if you're Crop did a great job when all he had to do was auto attack on Caitlyn and get fed later on. Now the onus is off him to try and make plays like you need to on the Kaisa and just sit back, wave clear, don't get engaged upon. Your time will come later on in the game.
Yeah, I was going to go with Seton Hall, but I thought about it more, and I remembered times that I had played Sivir into Vayne, and it's very, very difficult because the Vayne really is single target focused. You shove in onto her, and you have to use that priority some other way, or else you just get ganked. So I feel like the Vayne will have time to scale, and I don't feel like there's going to be much that they can do about it. I don't see the Echo being the answer either, so I don't see solutions on Seton Hall's side to really get a way to block the scaling unless they really leverage that Sivir and the wave clear to get dragons. But outside of that, I feel like DePaul can just sit on their hands and just wait for the game to scale and get late. So I'm going to have to go with DePaul here.
Compositionally, I think I like the comp out of Seton a little bit more, especially with the bottom side priority in the early game, hopefully for dragons. Though I do think the way that they've been playing, I think DePaul are much more likely to execute. I do have to put it for the D-Men, and I think we get a 2-0 Grand Championship right here.
All right, well, we'll get to find out here in our final, or our second game, possibly the final game
Match point
for DePaul. Match point for DePaul here. Again, constantly second place over the last several years. They've had so many iterations of the roster. Will this be the one? Let's find out. Game number 2 underway. Match point for the Blue Demons.
This would certainly be the ultimate insult to injury, because now not only are they trying to come back, if DePaul were to eventually loses, because not only would they get second place again, but they would have gotten reverse swept on. And I guarantee you, every one of those Blue Demons is going to be trying as hard as they possibly can to avoid that specific outcome. And I do think that, they're set up for it. Bottom lane's a little bit concerning for me in the early stages, just especially with, like, Leona being able to lock down priority bottom side. But, I mean, Reaper's on the Olaf. You are able to sneak away some dragons, and with the way that scene hasn't quite been super mindful about where they are on the map, that's where I'm really concerned about this comp.
Yeah, I'm concerned with where they're going to go on the side of Crop and Numgums and when they get their priority, because pretty much you kind of assume that they will get it. I just don't know what they're going to do with it early. Exactly. And if they can control the jungle, then I think that's advantageous and that they can do that. But I have to see the execution, and I haven't seen it from this bottom lane, just yet.
Yeah, and I think that's a very fair point. We've seen Numgums basically hand feed Crop, but we've also seen King Amazin make his own plays along with Hunky Hank constantly making plays for this squad. So we'll see how this works out for Seton Hall in just a bit. Mid lane matchup, Kassadin and Vladimir, two guys that don't mind late scaling. You really want to get the Null Sphere. Is it Null Sphere? Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, Null Sphere, the Q onto Vladimir when he's trading. You get the magic shield. It'll cancel things out.
Yeah, and with this matchup, you also see Kamcha going for the teleport instead of the ignite, so don't really expect too much of the super Vladimir burst, especially around level 6. So it is definitely much more minded towards that team fight, towards that mobility, which does make me think it could go a little bit later, but I mean, it is collegiate. Sometimes you have expectations like, oh, we're going to like 90 minutes, queue up like the generic Green Wings theme, and then boom, 15 minutes is over. So always take it with a grain of salt here in these kind of leagues.
Here on the bottom side of the map, that's where a lot of the focus will be. Again, no major lead quite yet, but interesting to see Crop shoved on in so early on by Vayne and Thresh. I think that's just a lot of the respect for the players, King Amazin and Hunky Hank. But eventually, Sivir should be able to shove that one in and force the Vayne back to the turn.
Yeah, he's just making sure he doesn't do that early when they know that Olaf started top side of the map. Oh,
Where's the headbutt?
he doesn't have it yet. Wow. It just sounded so sad.
Oh, with this skin, the ultimate, the Maiden of the Mist from Yorick is actually one of the creepiest things I think I have ever seen in this game. It's just like a cat, but it's super long, draping arms. And just comes around. I've been at so many lands where the observers will just focus on that for about 30 minutes straight, and it's always so disconcerting.
Yeah, shout out to the ESL observers doing a fantastic job now capturing the fight here on the bottom side of the map. Early ignites coming down, Crop and Hunky Hank, and I think I know which side of this trade Zyrene likes.
Yep, I think the Vayne for sure. I don't think there's really much the Sivir can do to shut her down early, especially when you have a jungler like the Olaf on your side. So if he moves forward, it just doesn't favor him. And also, hey, it was the support HP for the ADs, and I think that's what you were hinting at.
Yep. You got there. Definitely not the greatest trade there for Sivir now. Kamcha being forced slightly away. I've earned this rank. showing a bit in the mid lane. Again, his 3rd time today playing the Echo, trying to cultivate some of that magic they found in the first series. Didn't quite get over the hump there. Nice spell shield by Sivir to keep himself safe. It's almost like free mana. You know that Hunky Hank's going to land the hook, so you just make sure you're ready to push the button afterwards.
Just had to walk in front of it on purpose. Get it back. You do that with Caitlyn traps too, even though that's still a bad matchup for you as well because of the range. But thinking about the Sivir, not in the context of the lane, but in the context of the game, speeding up the Echo and the Cassidy as well as the Yorick just seems like a really great way to play, but they have to make sure that they just don't get too far behind. I think that's the issue. 12 CS up already, no teleport. He's got 2 long swords.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the straight rush for the SM server as well, but definitely like there is a late game fantasy you can get to at some point, especially like when you start factoring not only the crits bouncing, but also I'm looking at some with some marks and healing.
Those are such sad meows from Meowrick. Meowrick's little ghouls. It's just depressing. My roommate has a cat at home. My cat doesn't know how to properly meow, and it sounds like that. It's like, "Brr."
Oh, God.
Oh no. You see already with the minions, they have such long arms. Cats don't have those.
You ever see the...
It's reverse dinosaurs.
Oh. Whee. We've seen multiple attempts of those flashy hex tech plays. Numgums falling short on that one.
You ever see the Meowkai when he ulties and then somebody gets hit by it and rooted? That these 2 cats come up and wrap around them, but they're really long when they first come up because they have to go up and then down. I've seen that, and that's the one that's creepiest for me.
If those are the animations that made it through, what I wouldn't give to see like all the animations that they passed up on for these skins that they deemed too wild. That'd certainly be interesting. Reaper.
Oh, flame missed there by Hunky Hank. Rare to see him not execute on something. The blast cone over the wall by Reaper finds himself a ward. He'll clear that one out. Move along on his own merry way. Ivern, this rank, we haven't really talked about him too much, just showing once in the mid lane. That was about it.
Yep, but look at this. Olaf in the jungle. Level 6 now, though, for Myeonhae. Oh.
Another Xenoblade going wide. Crop is going to take this one.
Oh, good dodge.
Passage, keeping everything safe there for King Amazing. Crop, low on mana, though. Has to be careful.
So, you know why this lane is the way it is right now? Is they never went back to buy. So they have 53 CS with nothing to their name, all that gold versus 2 longswords.
Oh, another Xenoblade will land. Hunky Hank getting caught out, forced to flash backwards, and Ivern this rank more than happy to trade Hunky Hank's flash.
Yeah, and now you want to push it out. Now you want King Amazing to actually have a way to back, because I'm pretty sure he can already afford a big ticket item.
He definitely can, but keep in mind that both these junglers are hovering around the bottom side because the dragon is still up and available. And DePaul knows that the second that they back, even if it is for an item, they will give up control of the area. But thankfully, with those last few plays, Reaper starts to move in closer to the jungle. At least now, since he's standing on the dragon, even if it's an immediate jump over to dragon, they should buy enough time for King Amazing to be back kind of in that area. In fact, yeah, there's the gatekeeper. None shall pass. This is my dragon. Go away, Ivern.
Oh.
Right, go away, whoever.
Actually, that stopped recall is going to be huge here because now King Amazing will get back on the map earlier. They'll have the numbers advantage for about 15
just go
seconds.
straight there.
And
Just go
Reaper's
straight there.
going
Nane back too.
Yeah, just go straight there. I feel like the Vayne is going to do enough damage. You just go straight there with the Olaf, and then you clear this wave as the Vayne. You have Kamcha move forward, and then, yeah, it just should be super simple.
It's just GG.
GG!
GG.
What? Whoa, bro!
No, it was Ivern said it. It's 5 minutes or you lose the game. They didn't get the dragon. 8 minutes, but no, that was a really good play from DePaul. It was kind of this back and forth. It was gonna come down to which side wanted to pull that trigger first, because there was a time that Seton Hall, if they brought a few more moments down, could have prepared something to grab that dragon earlier. But DePaul were the ones who didn't blink first. They were the ones who immediately went on towards it, and really great recognition by them.
Oh, Myeonhae. That's a nice little trade there onto Kamcha. Kamcha will be able to heal himself on up. But again, this is the slowest game we've seen all day today in all of the semifinals, the finals game number 1. These guys more than happy to play the scaling game on both sides.
Exactly.
But going a little bit better for DePaul's bot lane, a full Bilgewater Cutlass bot.
Wait, its legs are so small.
His
Wait,
legs small, but his
wait.
arms are big.
The legs are...
The auto attack animation too just looks lazy.
Wait.
That's actually the stuff of nightmares right there.
Oh my God.
This poor cat.
Its arms are so long.
All right, well, Crop more than happy to just hold here for just a little bit. They'll lose control of vision on the bottom side. Look at the full vision control by DePaul in the bot jungle. And it's just one over there by the entrance, one by river entrance top side, one behind Drake. Just full vision all over the place for DePaul. They feel safe to pressure, to be this far up, and to keep Crop on the back foot. However, you do have Ivor in this rank coming down to the bottom side of the map. He'll clear out some Krugs and possibly look for a gank in a bit.
And you can see Crop has gone for the cull. He's made sure that he's going to start, looking for some cash. But
There it is. Crop does get hooked. A bad timing there on the spell shield, but look at this. On the backside, Numbgun says, I'll take care of business. King Amazing. Here goes Ivor, not able to get the dash forward. Now Hunky Hank in the wrong spot, and Hunky Hank not the hunkiest anymore. It's Crop picking up the kill, and Sivir, first blood.
And that could be potentially huge, as that's a huge gold insertion into your Sivir. You now have potentially the amount to go back. I don't think the Essence Reaver's come in just yet, but it does move that timetable up. And once you get Essence on Sivir, you just push out, don't give a care in the world, back on up. And it's reducing the amount of lanes that DePaul can realistically play through, because top lane is still suffering heavily. Mid lane, though, maybe the next point of contention.
Ooh, Ivor in this rank is there. Numgum's not going to be long for this world. He does go down. The gank in the mid lane does not work out, and just kind of like randomly walking into Reaper, he more than happy will give you a Death's Grasp right there. And 1 for 1 right back on over to DePaul.
And you can see that the mid lane Kamcha, he's able to push the Kassadin out with no teleport, which is a great thing for the Vladimir at this point in the game, since he's still trying to scale. He's 20 CS up. He's been doing an amazing job here for himself. And then that bottom side, that was actually a really interesting trade back and forth that was really close. Leona did a lot more damage than was anticipated, but I think it lined up a lot with Sunlight procs and Crop being able to trigger those.
Yeah, and it was really great, actually, that Numgums had the intuition to immediately just jump on the bait. If that was even half a second later, that was a kill going over, and if Crop dies that early on the fight, I'm not even sure you win the 2v2 when Ivor comes to that bottom side. And these are those small little differences that could mean the game. And I mean, eventually, you just want to look at like the butterfly effect. It could mean this series, like that one step forward, that one step backwards. But for now, just in that time, all it's going to mean is Crop gets that BF sword, does have a bit of damage now.
Alcove players, where you at? Oh no, there's the hook, and it's the wrong time for Numgums. He gets put backwards, able to buy a little bit of time with the solar flare, but hey, look at that, an Alcove play that works.
I mean, it worked out there. That was a good hook. That was a good kind of setup. There's just so much space down there, and it really gives junglers a better way to get through the lane, which is really funny because I think lane ganking was one of the things that was, I want to say, gated. It was a high elo gated skill where you had to really be high elo to really understand when to lane gank and run straight down the lane. But now it's like much easier to lane gank once the lane is shoved.
Yeah, obviously comparing lane gank compared to river gank right now is
and of course the new Alcove gank.
the Alcove gank. Where are my fellow Alcovers? Shout outs in the chat. Is Crop continuing to get closer to finishing his coal. You hate to go back and buy the coal. It never feels good. You're conceding late, which he did for a little bit, only down 13 CS now. It was a much larger lead for King Amazing earlier, but with that counter engage, forcing him back, blowing his flash, and now the vision game coming back into Seton Hall's favor, Crop able to CS safely.
And now they have to have their backs right now because the dragon is coming up. So if you don't get your items now, you're not going to have them in time. So let's see. Essence Reaver, is it finished?
Drum roll.
Uh-oh. He cancels his back.
He hasn't gone back. A lot of pings going down because the Mountain Drake has spawned. So no Mountain Drake, no Cloud Drake, or a Rift. So that means it's going to be either an Ocean Drake or an Infernal, or an Ocean Rift or an Infernal Rift later on in the game. We'll find out very soon because it looks like DePaul turning their eyes, turning their focus onto said Mountain Drake.
Yeah, King Amazing was able to get the push off, and because Crop didn't go back, not only doesn't have the Essence Reaver, but still has to reset that wave. Now is collapsing on in, and this could be a pinch.
Numgums going on to the AD carry. King and Mason might be deleted in just a second. The Drake does head on over to DePaul, but there's the kill. Seton Hall finding one. Beyonhe coming to join the party. TP coming on in. Please be patient, coming to join. The Infernal is blazing. So in the middle of retreating, the map has opened up. That's pretty cool. Crop able to get an auto attack off, and Beyonhe picks up the kill. The Drake heads over to DePaul. That's 2 for them, but it's 2 kills for Seton Hall.
The funny thing is, the way that it's timed, that will actually happen a lot. If people are contesting the second dragon, which most people will, and on the retreat, if it's Infernal, like, that'll happen. If it's Mountain, you'll see that too. Like, there's going to be so much in the landscape that changes after the dragon dies. And right here, just the pop onto King Amazing. They're able to get him with the Leona E. Even though he's invisible, he's just CC'd during that time, and I've earned this rank is able to pick it up.
Yeah, the smite was actually the killing blow here, and this is so cool. In the middle of the fight.
Just Hunky Hank is standing behind a wall, and it just disappears in front of him. That's not what you want to see. Just like in a
what have I done?
Just like in a game of Call of Duty, just the cover immediately disappears.
He missed the hook, and the game exploded. Hunky Hank, what are you doing? He's had a couple of missed hooks. No impact so far in terms of score, 0-1-0. And getting destroyed in Vision score right now. 24-13. Game's over. GG, as you said.
That's the real competition. But I do have to say that for what we were talking about with Numgums, not only in the semifinals, but even match number 1, it was really, really underwhelming. And now, I still have to keep crediting him with a lot of these plays. Not only that bot lane fight where they're able to get first blood onto Crop, but also that dragon, the immediate turn, just like heat-seekingly onto King Amazing was what started that fight off on the right foot, was able to get that kill, of course, onto the Vayne, and is going to be a crucial member of this comp, especially when you realize that that's the only engage option that they have.
Yeah, and they have a lot of people who want to stick on that Vayne. The Leona plus the Sivir will help people run straight at her, and the Cassian is going to try to be all over her. It's going to be really, really difficult for him to actually navigate these fights.
Yeah, in those types of situations, a lot of the time your job as the AD carry is just to stay alive, look juicy, be a bait, but don't actually get into the fight. And it's almost like everyone always thinks dealing damage is your primary job. Your primary job is living. Live first, allow the rest of your team to give you an opening to come clean it up. And we'll have to keep an eye on King Amazing, because a lot of these fights that he's had, he's made his own plays for sure, but he's come in late. Things have come and lined up perfectly for him to get himself the triple kills, the quadra kills, and the pentakill he got in the semifinals. A little bit of trading back and forth between Beyonhe and Kamcha. Kamcha still trying to get to that scaling portion right now. 0-1-0, has a bit of a CS lead, but in that last fight, Beyonhe was able to cash in a couple of kills.
Yeah, able to get the kill and the assist on it, but Kamcha still up in CS, has some more magic resistance though. I think that's the big difference between these two, is the magic resistance on the boots, as well as just the healing versus the temporary magic shield. And Reaper, this will be actually huge for DePaul if they're able to get the Rift Herald, plus they're able to secure themselves the Drake from before. And look at that, no check.
Yeah, Seton Hall doesn't know where maybe soon is. He's like, yeah, you know what, if I walk over there, I'll get knocked up in.
I believe Ivern's also Alcove gaming here in the bottom lane. In fact, they are. So I think this is physically the furthest possibly away that you can be from the Herald. It would have been an interesting 1v1 fight, eventually did 2v1, but Reaper is pretty confident in taking this one out. Not sure if he knew exactly where Ivern that rank was, but Ivern just hasn't been able to find as many counter plays as he wanted to, but still has been contributing when it's come to those fights.
Yeah, these two junglers, we thought that they would be the focal point of this game, and they are. Yeah. Drop the Rift Herald. And
yep, takes 1 second, and you can just walk away. It's not going to take the damage on this one. You push for another. There's nobody who's going to get here except for Ivern. This rank, it takes a lot of damage when it charges, but they just need this charge on the second one. Ooh. Oh, that was actually pretty cool.
That's a good chunk.
She killed herself.
Ivern this rank, able to clear it out, but not after Shelly, or is that Kelly?
Now, I don't know. Maybe that was just, I think that was Shelly. She just lived a long time.
Old Shelly. Post-college Shelly.
It's like, what's Kelly Clarkson?
Kelly Clarkson. 30-year-old Kelly Clarkson. Chunking down the mid lane turret as we're waiting to see what is the next play. The Infernal Drake, a big part of how the rest of the game is going to play out. The Infernal Rift.
Look at the pit.
Part of it.
The pit's just like, welcome to hell.
Very open, though.
Welcome to Elo Hell. It's
Yeah.
the Infernal Dragon Pit.
That means you're just going to fight. Fight, fight, fight.
You thought you were in Elo Hell before.
Right, as they set up for those, though, keep in mind, especially with top laners coming to join this fight.
Well,
Yorick-
one top laner
Well,
is.
it's taking a long time. Kamcha is going to be here
Yes,
late.
TP.
All right, there's your TP. What are they going to do? Here it comes. Call of the Forge God coming on in. Nice stun coming through by Numgum, so that means the rest of the call will not be answered. King Amazin's able to flash himself backwards. Numgum's flashes, Forge gets the stun down.
Amazing.
Hank's able to pick up one kill. Please be patient, trying to finish off maybe soon. And it's maybe time that maybe soon sees a gray screen. Look at the back line, though. A lot of damage going down. Finally, the Vayne falls. Comtra trying to 1v9 this one. Ivern this rank, getting the shield from the parallel convergence, keeping himself safe. Kamcha will get himself out, but it's a big win here for Seton Hall as they take control of the pit.
Yeah, and that was one where it looked like King Amazing. He had gotten out and up, and then Numgums went straight after him, and then it was just too far in, too deep by King Amazing afterwards. He gets picked up on the tail end of the fight, and that's where it really turns.
And this is where we build upon that pyramid of ADC play, because staying alive is step one, but step two is your uptime during a fight. How often are you actually outputting damage? And King Amazing, first of all, is stuck in this top end of the pit. Crop is absolutely in his entire time. And then there's like a 5-second chase this way with a beautiful turnaround from Ivern to get that kill on Amazing. And Crop even gets out at the end, so that over chase in top lane just neutralizes anything that Vayne was going for. And that was an important dragon for DPU, DePaul University, to pick up, because that would have been Dragon 3 going on to Dragon 4, the potential win condition coming to fruition. But now keep in mind, if Seton Hall were to get the dragon, if we go super late, Seton Hall has the ability to pick up 4 Infernal Dragons in this game.
That would be tough. I think a big play in that one as well was putting the control ward down for Crop and getting a full charge of Boomerang Blade on multiple members. Now please be patient, getting ganked up here by Reaper. Will not be able to get himself out. The split pusher does go down, and the shutdown gold heading on over to the opposite side as well. So a little bit of a misstep there by the Seton Hall top laner. DePaul taking advantage of it. But with the pressure of the jungler on the top side of the map, that means no longer can you defend the bottom side for King Amazing and Hunky Hank. They're forced off. The turret goes down. And
this is something that we've been seeing a lot today, is AD carries going for item plus 2 cloaks to get 75% crit chance. So what ends up happening here from Crop is he's a Sivir. Sivir loves having 100% crit, and you can see it right here. But hold on, let's see if Kamcha can actually survive.
Yeah, Kamcha in a little bit of trouble. The Rift Walk walking all over Kamcha is Myeonhae. He'll pick up the kill. Had barely enough mana to do it to him. Now, fight on the bottom side of the map. Hunky Hank also got chunked out around the red buff. Again, the Infernal Rift, showing how the map can lead to even more peril, even more aggression for some of these teams. And Seton Hall taking advantage of it. Now we'll focus on the mid lane turret.
And Seton Hall are really starting to pick up the pace of this game, because you're just funneling gold into every single member that you want. The one thing that they do still need to be cautious of course, is the Yorick itself on their own team, because they do want to make sure they still leverage in a side lane. You want to avoid bringing him into a 5-on-5 fight. I think that dragon fight, I don't want to say it was a fluke, but isn't something that you should be expecting, because that was beautiful play by Numgum to basically neutralize anything that the Ornn could have done. But as long as Seton Hall are playing this style, you have the Cassidy who's still scaling up towards level 16 currently. In fact, level 13 right now, has the items under the belt. You can win these fights. The Vayne is not popping off. The Vladimir has been pretty well and truly held down for now. You are comfortable in this position. You just need to make sure you are still playing to your win conditions. Get this team up separated out wide and let yourself control these fights.
Yeah, and this is the perfect time here for Seton Hall to do so. In that last fight, we touched on it, maybe soon was a little too late to the dragon fight, the Drake fight, and had to TP. Who didn't have to TP? The Yorick. Please be patient. He was able to focus on this top side, clear out the turret, and now he can start split pushing with the TP advantage with Baron now on the table.
I actually want to see like a cosplay of that, where like the legs are the purple part, and then you just have like little legs coming out of your back, and woo! Oh my gosh, you could. That'd
Got
be
the
so
bells
creepy.
too.
That'd be so creepy.
I want like a size comparison, because those arms seem like 5 times. Like I said it before, it's like a reverse T-Rex where you have the super long legs and the tiny little arms. It's the exact opposite of that. I'm not sure which one is more disconcerting. If it's like super long legs and tiny arms, or super tiny just that. Which one's worse?
That's a little bit scarier. I mean,
Okay.
that's some Attack on Titan looking stuff. So.
Oh boy. Well, tanks I don't think are that big just yet, but Kamcha maybe trying to get out of this one. This lane matchup is only going to get harder and harder, I feel, for Vladimir for the time being, especially once you get towards the level 16 spike for Kassadin. Because Kassadin, once you have the upgraded ultimate, once you got a few more items under the belt, with the accelerated item curve, you just R, kill, blood, or lack of blood. Does Kassadin have blood? Do they have blood? Do they like run on some sort of void essence, or I don't know how that works.
It's running on a blue right now. You can see Mianhe riff walking down on the bottom side of the map to stack up the cost of the mana, which will also stack up the damage done each time riff walked is used. Crop, he trusted Hunky Hank to land it. Did not land it on this one, but you can see the team controlling the river, playing a lot more controlled, a bit slower, and they want the rest of DePaul to walk on into them, to walk blindly in.
There's not a TP for maybe soon just yet, so please be patient and shoved him in. He's gonna back. Maybe soon needs to back, or
they do this
run
quickly.
straight here, so I don't even think he'll have his TP just yet, so they're probably gonna have to give this one up.
I don't know, Hunky Hank looking for a hook. It's getting very low. Reaper trying to get a drive-by. Smite will not be able to, and now Mianhe going right on in. There it is, the Zenith play to the back line. Gets two members. Hunky Hank getting caught out. Kamcha as well. King Amazing has nowhere to go, and down he goes. Kamcha, he's running the wrong way, seeing if he can get himself to safety. There it is. Nice little tap on the back by the Echo. And 3 kills plus the Drake means Seton Hall focusing on the Baron.
Yeah, they're going to go to this top side immediately, and that is just a massive pickup from them. The fact that the TP was just a little bit off, just a little bit on cooldown from maybe soon, and they were all a little bit late, is just DePaul being caught sleeping.
Right, and this is everything going right for Seton Hall here. This is 100% their Dragon to go ahead and pick up. Of course, Kassadin jumping backline. There's no room for King Amazing. Doesn't matter how quick you are on the dodge. He's got giant AoE ultimate that's going to put you down on the ground. And for me, for DePaul knows that they do scale. And this Baron should be going over. Yeah, there it is. All right.
Just making sure.
Less exciting. Oh, got the Ornn coming in. No Licorice Steal, unfortunately. No Doink at the last second. But either way, DePaul knows that they scale. They maybe don't outscale, but they still scale to a stronger point. And the question now has to become, when do we put everything on the line? And I think that right there definitely wasn't the right answer. If you want to make your final stand, your Alamo, you hit him with everything you got when you think you're the strongest that you possibly are. 2 items on Vayne. I don't even think the Rage Blade was completed before that fight, but without the Ornn, definitely I don't think was that fight. And the fact that they halfway went into it means that they are now even further down, and that eventual fight is going to be harder and harder to eventually achieve.
Yeah, they do have 4,000 extra gold in stats from the Ornn for the Blade of the Ruined King, as well as the Black Cleaver and the 2 items on the Ornn. So it's a little bit closer, but yes, the stats from the Dragon are going to matter a lot. But I believe it's 2-2 in terms of Drakes.
Correct.
So it's going to be potentially like one of the longer ones that you can see before somebody actually gets the Dragon Soul here. I just think if DePaul want a chance in this, they need kills to go over to the Vladimir and the Vayne. Those are their 2 big carries, their 2 damage dealers. Everybody else kind of tickles people at this point in the game. Whereas you look at Mianhe and Crop, they've just been participating so much that they have so much gold to actually run over the enemy team with.
The thing is, right now, I don't even know how you stay alive during these fights as Vayne. I don't know what combination of disengage, like voodoo magic that you have that's going to get you away from the Leona, the Cass, and even coming on the backside with the likes of the Echo. And I'm almost thinking now that I more so put it into Kamcha's court. Having the invulnerability might be enough to get you through.
Please be patient, a little bit of trouble. Maybe soon might be hitting that break point where he's got enough armor to dish out the damage. Flash forward.
Get these cats out of my lane.
Please be patient.
Call PETA.
Taking out. Someone call PETA. An adoption clinic.
Well, you might have to call PETA on the bottom lane too. It's a level 16 Kassadin who's split pushing with teleport versus this Vladimir, because he's going to need some help. He's going to need somebody.
And Kassadin just pretty big. 4-1-3. And we were wondering if I've Earned This Rank was going to be able to find the right fights. 10 kill participation overall. 10 out of the 11. Looks like he's doing pretty good. They're playing a little bit slower. Both these squads playing a little bit more methodical, setting up first, playing over vision. You can start to feel the pressure of the moment, the finals for these 2 squads. In both their semifinal series, they're more than willing to brawl.
And I really want to draw attention to the fact that this was a late game scaling battle that DePaul opted themselves into, especially when they saw a Sivir. They immediately doubled down with the Vladimir, and then a little less immediately, but still in response to, doubled down with the Vayne as well. And I think that really really takes away a lot from their team identity, as we've been seeing. They're their best when they can throw these early to mid-game plays on their own front yard. But because they have some losing matchups, and the bottom lane was winning for a little bit but never really completely came over, but the fact that they're lacking that early game priority anywhere means that they've basically been at the beck and whim of whatever Seton Hall wants to do. And Seton Hall, when you get them into these, once again, micro situations where it comes down to individual execution, they win.
And I think that goes back to Hunky Hank getting Thresh. So far, we've seen him have fantastic games on it. In this case, hasn't been able to have the same impact. 1, 3, and 0. Just not used to seeing him not set up his AD carry. Yes, it's a little bit more of babysitting in the form of Vayne, but he's missed a lot and been punished, just like Kamcha right now being punished. The taxes, his Flash won't have that in the next team fight.
Well, you saw Mianhe also stacked up his Rift Walk a tiny bit in the bush before he went in, so that it was actually going to hit harder as soon as he actually went onto Kamcha. He just has so much mana now that he's able to do that ahead of time.
All right, boys, round 5 coming in for the Dragon. Actually, a little early fighting.
Yeah, and there's just one knock up there. Numgums does go down. The TP is channeled. Remember, you can't cancel that anymore. And in goes Mianhe, able to Rift Walk himself out to
They
save.
still got to watch out for him. He's so strong.
But the split pushing by Please Be Patient, he does not have TP, which means he's just going to keep on going and go right on into town. This might be the call for Seton Hall to say, hey, stop the backs. Ivor in this rank goes for the steal. Not able to get it. Vayne picks it up. Thank you very much.
Woo!
But all the meantime, look how much damage Cassidon's doing. Down goes the Vayne. TP's coming on through. Will it be canceled? No, it cannot. Parallel convergence will not land, and Please Be Patient will be stopped. But he's able to take the top inhib turret and the top inhibitor and chunk down that Nexus turret.
Yeah, and hold on. Oh, I've earned this rank getting Kamcha, even though he does throw down the ultimate.
Kamcha able to get himself back to safety. Oh, Crop. That's insane.
He's hitting
Oh,
the
he sees
ward.
it because of the ward.
Yeah,
That's insane.
Well, I was wondering how he saw the ward without seeing the person. But
yeah.
he got the
yeah,
the vision.
the ward is disabling it.
Yeah. Yeah, all the vision comes in. Though I do have to say, it was definitely not advantageous to give over a Fire Dragon, as I think it rarely ever is. But once you got this fight, this was probably the smartest set of moves you could have from Seton Hall. Maybe the only other move I would have sent. I'm not sure if you keep Mana here. I think if you throw the Cassin up top, maybe you threaten even more aggressively with the ending of this game, because I think once that goes over, your chance of stealing this Dragon go downhill. But the fact that they have at least a mindfulness to keep the Yorick on the top side of the map, threaten to get something back, even if they lose this Dragon, means that they're still in a great spot. Giving DePaul now another Fire Drake is a concession, but I think that once you lose Leona, you have to choose something to give away, and that Dragon is probably the best option available.
Well, the pressure now will mount on the top side of the map. You kind of know where the rest of DePaul will have to be because super minions will be pushing on that side, and that gives Please Be Patient the opportunity to continue to split push. Maybe soon had to TP earlier. What a hook by Hunky Hank onto the Cassidon. He should go golden, should be fine, should be able to get around to safety, but here comes the rest of the team. That goes
amazing.
King Amazing still alive. Finally, he goes down, and now Olaf caught in the middle of no man's land. That is land for no man. They go down. The base is in shambles. The fight's breaking out. Kamcha, what are you doing over here? The turrets are getting defeated right now, all alone. Please Be Patient, saying, buy me some time, and I'll win us this game. You see him on the bottom side of the map right here, continually going. All the while, Sivir is split pushing with so much crit on the top, and it looks like Seton Hall has out-macroed the #1 seed in DePaul. DePaul still trying to fight their way back. Timeout goes the Ornn. Maybe soon not going to be able to break on through. And it is Seton Hall. The Pirates will try to steal this one away. They will steal this one away. And we're going to a decisive game #3 between our top 2 seeds to claim who will be the Big East preseason invitational champion.
And I just feel like when I look at those comps, I go, what patch are you playing on? Like, this is 923. The dragons spawn and they keep spawning and they don't stop spawning. Like, you got to pick those dragons up fast. You got to hit those guys really quickly. You can't go for these scaling compositions. I feel like it's not good enough, and you can't pick the lanes that don't have priority. So when I look at DePaul's composition, I think it has a lot of flaws in it, but I think they weren't able to play to the ones that they wanted to, the strengths of the composition, because a lot of what Seton Hall did, especially in that mid lane, I think Mianhe getting an advantage made it so that their win condition was pretty much shut down, because they're like, we're going to scale. And you're like, well, we're going to scale too. And it's like, but you guys scale better than us.
Yeah.
And so the Cassidon was just so hard to shut down that it became too much of an issue for DePaul to deal with.
Yeah, and I think Seton Hall did a fantastic job not opting into those big team fights where we've seen Orn have a huge impact, where we know Vladimir can really break things down, with Echo being shifty when he decided to go in, with Cassidy buying time and when he's able to decide to go in. And then great job, good bounce back game for Numgums, constantly dropping right on into King Amazing and saying, you're just going to be a knight today. So let's go ahead and take a look at the analysis from Return. Return, what do you got from us?
All right, we're throwing this one back a little bit earlier in the game. It's the second to last Dragon fight. And I think this is really one that set DePaul University up for failure and really put Seton Hall over the top. And before we get to this, let's take a quick look at how we're developing here. Towards the top side, you can see, if you remember, we have the split off coming from Orn. He is not currently at this fight. And DePaul University has a very good idea that this is gone. You are not getting to the Dragon, you are not contesting this fight, and instead of looking elsewhere, like potentially up here towards this Baron, at least get some vision on it, something whatnot, they decide to go ahead and contest. And it's this always fighting mentality for DePaul that ended up getting the better of them at this point in the game. And we can play through to get a quick glimpse into why, especially when this TP comes in before. Even before you walk up to it, you have to understand this is completely gone. But then when we come into the backline, it is just absolute domination, stacking AoE. Miene just is Cassidy, it's lay levels, he presses R, everyone absolutely gets demolished. And it was this cycle again and again of setting up these fights, DePaul not quite respecting it, and Seton Hall actually having some really good late game macro, not something I was expecting out of them, that was able to put DePaul, the top seed, down into their place and force us to a game 3. Back to you guys.
All right, thank you very much, Return. Again, you're seeing the focus there on the Drake. Again, we thought that DePaul had it. They had 2 Drakes, but again, nice little fight back by Seton Hall to get 2 themselves, and it slowed down the timer of the Drake win condition. And then they're more than willing to trade in that one, and we're not used to seeing that. We're so used to seeing so many teams be like, hey, Drake's only, we need all 5 members here. And that's the power of the Yorick coming on in as a split pusher, the answer to Orn, because Orn seems to be almost like this default top laner that everyone feels comfortable using here in 9.2.
He's team fighting, right? He's team fighting. He's not split pushing. So he has to show up to the team fights. He has to abandon the lane. And if you're playing for side lanes, then that's exactly what's going to happen, is you're going to have that Yorick just push those turrets down. And that's exactly what they ended up doing.
Yeah, so you can see, again, love the fact that a nice little adaptation for Seton Hall here. DePaul, I think, normally would be able to get away from this type of team composition because you have players that are able to make plays like that in the form normally of Hunky Hank. And when we sing his praises when he does well, we have to also be fair when he's not as impactful. And this one just wasn't quite able to land the hooks when he needed to. When he made roams, they weren't as impactful. And I think that's why you saw Vladimir be a normal long scaling Vladimir rather than find some picks and find some kills to help accelerate that. The Pirates find themselves a victory here in game number 2. We're going to take a short break, listen to some sea shanties as we prepare for our final game. The champion will be crowned right after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Big East Preseason Invitational.